right, for our next card, we have Michael Dew versus Jesse Romano. Jesse's 2-0 under the arena banner, and Michael's 1-0. It's going to be a 165-pound bout. Both athletes are extremely exciting. They have been in their prior matches. So we got Jesse starting off by pushing the pace, putting Michael right up against the cage, locking up underhooks here, trying to elevate. He's going to try and rotate and put Michael right down. Yep, and he does. Michael starting to lock up a closed guard there. Jesse's really working the cage there. Jesse actually has a good amount of MMA experience, and he's putting Michael right up against that cage, and it's going to make it difficult for Michael to get underneath him or really mount any good offense. And it looks like, here we go, we got Jesse starting to pressure forward, trying to work past the guard of Michael. He's keeping him flat up against that cage, and that's again going to make it really tough for Michael to initiate some offense. Michael might be looking to invert underneath, maybe go for a leg here. Jesse doing a really good job though of tying the legs up and controlling Michael here. They are off the cage now. Michael was starting to work some rubber guard. Jesse's probably going to need to posture out of this just to try and escape. Michael doesn't have too much of the angle on there that's going to be needed to start isolating that arm, and there we go. We're right back to here. Oh, we got Jesse trying a can opener here. It's kind of a neck crank variation. Can be tough to finish from the closed guard, but if you get it locked in really tight, it definitely can be a very painful submission that you can sometimes get some good taps on. So it's the kind of stuff we love to see. Jesse trying to pressure forward. He's going to try and pull that leg by that Michael's using as a frame. Michael's doing a good job keeping frames with his elbows, keeping frames with his legs, trying to keep that pressure off him. Jesse is done a real good job here passing the guard. He's passed right over to mount. Now this is a really good spot for Jesse. Jesse immediately starting with those python chokes that smother. Again, completely legal under the arena banner, as all submissions are legal in arena grappling. Jesse's going to try and keep Michael flattened out. Now Michael doesn't seem too phased in this position so far. Jesse's hips are pretty far back. Jesse's going to start to work to climb those up and just secure a real tight mount. Now Michael is looking like he's trying to kip escape, potentially bump and roll Jesse, but he's not putting everything into each of these escape attempts. He's fully aware, having competed under this format before, that energy expenditure is extremely important. And Jesse here is starting to isolate an arm. It looks like he's going to try and, all right, he was trying to put some Americana pressure there on the arm and then utilize that to maybe attack the defending arm with an arm lock. Looks like he's trying a similar setup here, getting Michael to turn. He's looking for that gift wrap, which would allow him to kind of take the back or take his option between arm locks and back control. He's trying to staple Michael's right arm down now. Those python chokes, despite the fact that obviously he hasn't gotten a sub with them up to this point, they do make your opponent move, and they do create a lot of space, especially from this mounted position. The python choke from the back can be pretty effective to get the finish. Python chokes from mount aren't always the highest percentage, but they definitely make your opponent move. They definitely make your opponent have to react, and it's just plain uncomfortable. So here we go. We got Jesse here locking up a head and arm triangle. This looks tight. Jesse is going to keep squeezing here. He wants to keep walking his hips out towards. He wants to have more of a perpendicular angle. Michael's doing a good job keeping his elbow kind of pushed up against Jesse's ear, taking some pressure off of one of those carotid arteries and relieving some of the pressure of the choke. And it looks like Michael is able to escape and survive there. Jesse doing a real good job with his pressure, doing a real good job. Stepping over here, he's going to look at a potential mounted triangle, but Michael does a good job keeping that blocked. Michael doesn't seem very phased right now. He's just in extremely defensive postures, utilizing all of his escapes as he can, but he's not putting too much into explosive movements trying to escape out. He's primarily just defending the submissions, which might be part of his strategy here. Potentially survive this first round. especially once you're in a bad position, when you are facing down the barrel of a potential 15-minute or even longer match if you go into overtime. Sometimes energy conservation definitely comes into the strategy, and both of these competitors have competed on this format before, and we move on to round 2 with no submission in round 1. So that round definitely would go to Jesse in terms of control, no doubt. But considering there was no submission, the scorecard is even. So here we go. We got Jesse pressing Michael up against the cage again. He locks up a good double leg. Michael looking for a guillotine here. Oh, this looks in kind of tight here. He's underneath the chin. Michael needs to try and work the angle, though. He needs to turn towards his left, trying to really rip that choke and keep Jesse's head underneath that armpit and really get underneath. And oh, there we go. Jesse doing a really good job there, posting up on his feet, hand fighting and freeing his neck, completely getting out of the danger of that submission. Now this is the same pass that he used last round, grabbing underneath both legs and working inside, but Michael doing a good job stopping that. Oh, Michael here looking to potentially lock up. So he's looking to attack that arm that he's isolating right now. He is almost in a triangle position, but from that angle he's not going to be able to get that. So Jesse does a good job freeing that arm and that head, and then starting to work the pass over. He's in this sort of 3/4 mount now, and he's already starting to isolate that Americana arm. Now from here, with that foot trapped, he'd probably be looking to take the back off of Michael's defenses to the Americana, but Michael's doing a good job of not exposing his neck, and he's gonna let Jesse step that foot right over. It's going to make it a little bit easier for him to kind of start to shrimp out and defend. Jesse doing a really good job, though, of putting him up against the cage, working that python choke, and just kind of putting this relentless top pressure. You can really see kind of the MMA background there that Jesse has, in the sense that, you know, he's able to utilize the cage, he's able to control really well from top, create a ton of top pressure, and not truly be out of position when he starts attacking for submissions. A lot of the submissions he's going for, like this head and arm triangle and those Americana pins, they're not really going to be opening up too much in terms of giving Michael room to escape and losing Jesse those positions, which is pretty typical of what you would see of a lot of MMA fighters. So again, Jesse tried that head and arm triangle. It was close. Here we go. So Jesse is stepping up higher, starting to bring that leg up, whether he's trying to isolate an arm or whether he's trying to potentially use it to take the back. He's got a lot of options when he brings that up, and he is just making this plain uncomfortable for Michael. Here we go. He's going to use that to try and take the back. Michael doing a good job, though, at turning in and almost ending up on top there, but Jesse does an excellent job reclimbing up high, being able to lock up that almost tight-end body triangle and using that pressure to be able to stay in a dominant position. Michael does a good job escaping there, though. He gets out of the back control. He's out of danger here, and he's starting to mount his own offense, looking for a potential leg here, but Jesse does an excellent job getting his legs free, clearing out, and then putting Michael right back flat on his shoulder blades, and he's going to try and work to pass this butterfly guard here that Michael has got established. So Jesse, what he wants to do here is he really wants to start pressuring forward. He does not want to be in Michael's closed guard. Michael throwing that over for potential arm lock. Yep, Jesse utilizing the space that Michael created, going for the submission to initiate another excellent pass over here. Jesse continues with that pressure, but Michael's doing a good job of just kind of creating frames, keeping his limbs safe, and just never being in deep submission threat. From a positional standpoint, he is in deep waters, and this pressure wears on you. This really breaks you down, and takes a lot out of your gas tank. But Michael is doing a good job at just conserving and just doing just enough from each position to not truly be under threat of submission. And Jesse here is just going to keep trying to grind him out. Yep, there he goes, throwing that head and arm triangle in again. And Jesse's going to want to keep walking out and potentially go more perpendicular here with that knee on belly position. See, he's going to keep walking this way. Michael keeping that frame, pulling away at that shoulder, just trying to create just enough space where he can get some breathing room and just enough blood flow to the brain where he's not going to have to submit to this. But this is in tight. This is in really tight. And Jesse, all right, Jesse steps back over to mount and realizes that he doesn't want to spend too much energy just trying to squeeze onto that choke. And you got Michael here doing just, you know, some quick little bridges, but nothing too crazy to mount a dynamic defense. All right, so round 2 is over. So now we're moving on to round 3. So this is a winner-take-all round. If either of these guys gets a submission in this round, then that would be the match. If there is no submission, we're going to jump into the 4th round, which is, oh, we have a flying leg scissor attempt. Michael's got this beautiful flying leg scissor. He's trying to invert underneath and push. He's going to want to push Jesse away, pull that leg in tight, and start working either knee bar attacks or heel hooks. What Jesse needs to do is Jesse really needs to start flattening him out and trying to come around his back. Oh, we get some heel exposure here. Oh, the knee is completely in, and we get, oh, and that is going to be it. All right. And we have a submission. So Michael, by submission, wins, goes 2-0 in his arena record via heel hook in round number 3.